Finding support from others who are experiencing similar situations is invaluable to a family's recovery.
I think it's very important to have a support group of some kind. Then you have people who are where you are. It helps to see that they're in the same condition, they're having the same feelings that you are, and it just helps you to blow off steam. It just helps you to release that pressure valve.
So families need to find a group, find a place that they can feel safe, that their anonymity won't be infringed on. They come together and share these things with each other. That way, sharing them, it brings light to these struggles.
I think prayer is a huge component, and it really opened my eyes when I realized times when I was praying for her and God was working. Addicts often lose their glasses and their contact lenses and things like that, and she had lost a contact lens, and she's almost legally blind without it, and didn't have any money to go to the doctor and get a new prescription. And she was walking down the sidewalk and literally found a contact lens in a little package, you know, like you get at the doctor. And it was not quite her prescription, but it was very close. And, you know, that told me that God was answering my prayers. He was working in her life when I couldn't see it. And you just have to trust that that's happening behind the scenes.
Hope for me stands for hang on, peace exists. And if I didn't have hope, I don't think I ever would have got well. I knew that I was living a life that was wrong, it was unhealthy, it was causing destruction. But I also knew that there was some way out. I just didn't know what it was. In the last 25 plus years, working one day at a time, I've really found a power greater than myself that has restored me to sanity. My whole outlook and attitude upon life has changed. I'm grateful for each and every day. I believe God is the source of my strength and my hope today.
The road to recovery for families and their addicted loved ones is a related but separate journey. Each member of the family has to work through denial and come to a point of acceptance that they are powerless over the situation, that their lives have become unmanageable, and that they need help.
The family approach is really teaching what is helpful for the person and what is not helpful. So, for example, a father may feel very guilty about hospitalizing a daughter, and the daughter may say, "I'll never talk to you again for hospitalizing me." So the family then needs support saying, that's not going to happen, that this is the best thing for her and the best thing for you, and you go through that line supporting the really positive moves that the family makes.
I can't say there's one moment when I realized I needed to recover. There were actually several moments, because dealing with a loved one with addiction, it's almost like you're going around and around and around a revolving door, and you keep running into the same things over and over. There were times when I was doing better longer. The longer this went, the better I did.
You get to the point where you're worn out, and you realize that this person is going to continue to use us and abuse us as long as we will let them. We just said, this is enough. We can't continue to do this. We can't continue to rob our other children. We can't continue to rob our church family, our friends. When you get to that point, it takes a while. It takes a long time, but you will get there. And I think that the addict sees that. They'll see that, oh, you're not rescuing me now? You're not coming? You're not doing as I've asked you to do? That is part of the turning process.
A thorough family in recovery is about love, communication, care for one another. When I think of my family, I think that I know they're there for me always. And I can think of no greater gift, that they love me no matter what. And I think that's enhanced because I'm in recovery. But God forbid, if I was ever to relapse, I don't think they'd leave me. They might treat me a little differently, but I don't think they'd leave me. And that's really good to know.
For an addict to begin the journey of recovery, they must break their own denial and come to accept and acknowledge their addiction themselves. No one can do this for them.
You have to come down to the point where you understand that regardless of the help that you've offered, regardless of the programs, regardless of the therapy, that eventually it comes down to an individual choice. That person has to stop using drugs.
If you force them, it's not gonna amount to anything. They're just gonna go right back to where they were. My family, I was committed several times for drug abuse, and I was so angry with them for doing it that it absolutely did nothing. You know, it just got me sober for a while, and then when I got out, I went right back to what I was doing.
It's estimated that 10% of the population has an alcohol or drug problem. And it's also estimated that there are 23.5 million people in recovery in the United States that we hardly ever hear from. What a powerful block of people. And we're just starting to come out, if you will, put our face in recovery and let people know that recovery is real.
Addiction is an incurable disease, but it is very treatable. With education and support, families dealing with addiction can learn to live their lives to the best of their ability with hope, grace, and a belief in a power greater than themselves to intervene for their loved one.
I can tell a person that the disease is chronic and relapsing and people recover. However, that is not as effective as group therapies or Alcoholics Anonymous. I think the best treatment for that is to go to meetings, go to as many meetings as possible, listen to stories of recovery, and get involved in the program. And that's the best way to address the feeling of hopelessness, by seeing other people and hearing other people's story of recovery.
Our daughter has been drug-free for a while now. We are seeing her making good choices, and the things that I had given up on, relationship with her, having normal mother-daughter times with her, have come back. It's still like walking on eggshells because we've been through so many relapses that I think we constantly wait for the other shoe to drop, but the longer it goes, the more comfortable we get, and now we do try to help her with when she's making responsible choices and not help her when she's making irresponsible choices.
Accept and celebrate small victories. Mm-hmm. We all want a miraculous healing. In our case, that hasn't happened. We're in the process of a healing as far as we can tell. But we celebrate daily that things are better. They're not what they were, they're not what we want them to be, but they are better than they have been.
In order for a family to truly care for their loved one who might be addicted or is addicted, they have to be able to tell the truth without blame or judgment. And it's to tell the truth as they see it. I see that this is really hurting you, I see that you're missing work, I see that your school is being affected, whatever the situation be. Tell your truth as you see it. And don't blame them or judge them. And that's the real key. You have to come from it with a real place of love, concern, care, compassion.
I think family support is probably it's one of the most important parts of recovery. I know in my situation that this would not be going as well as it is if I didn't have my family support.
Addiction is so bad on the family members because they can't do anything about it. They've done everything they know, and nothing seems to work. In their brokenness, somewhere God might say, hey, I'm here for you too. Nothing's too big for me, and I do love you.
It always helps to kind of like talk it out with your family member that is using, because it's got to be something else that's making them turn to the drugs.
One of the biggest blessings that an addict can have is a family that truly, truly loves them and is praying for them and is longing for them to come home.
I do not need to be in this. Yeah, I can give encouragement. Yeah, I can say I love you. But I don't have that hopeless feeling anymore. I can't. I have every hope for him.
Find and hang on to hope. Learn all you can about alcoholism and addiction. You are not alone. The choices you make for your own well-being are the best thing you can do for your loved one.